We'll be talking about the Tema PSC shipyard, which needs about $200 million to revamp it. As it stands, it is deteriorating, and it's really sad to see that a national asset as huge as this has been left to rot. Now, it was put up sometime back in 1965 by the first president of Ghana, and unfortunately, no care has been given it for many, many years. It is currently 54 years old, and so we're calling it the cash cow, and this is a documentary that was put together by our very own in the newsroom, and so she'll be talking about it, but I want you to quickly take a look at it. This documentary is called The Cash Cow in the Bush, and this is throwing a spotlight on how the ailing facility will soon lose out. And so take a look at this and we'll come back and speak to her.
In the Tema metropolis for close to 30 years, and I've heard stories of how vibrant the shipyard was employing hundreds of residents in the metropolis and beyond. Most fascinating was the fact that people of my generation will brag about their parents working at the yard, and for us children, that was our dream. Having been trained as a maritime journalist, I delved into issues regarding the national asset and monitored its operations. The workers, in a bid to register their concerns to government, presented a petition to the presidency to demand the immediate removal of the CEO. And that was my first report on the shipyard and the union rivalry. The regular protest to get government's attention to refurbish it 3 years ago. MV Orogene, a tank vessel, was making her first appearance at the shipyard to experience the craftiness of the workers of the yard. It had been towing oil tankers in the Niger Delta in Nigeria.
The yard has just received a tank vessel from Nigeria. Is going to be here at the Drydock for 14 days, but it has already spent 3 days here. We have about 40 workers who will be executing various activities on the vessel.
Though it is MV Orogene's first visit to the yard, it is the fourth this year by Engineer Sunday Okoro, the client. Engineer Sunday touts the workers for quality work, but he is concerned about their inability to meet deadlines.
What can they do to improve or to revive this yard?
You know, they've been increasing, the efficiency has been improving, starting from the first time I came here. You know, it's better now than it used to be. If they continue to step up, if they have to pick something heavy now, you know, I don't know, it's going to be a real problem. I mean, I think we need to really, you know, do some investment in some properties here, you know, to improve the dock efficiency. The people are doing well, you know, but I think they still need to improve their.
Tema PSC shipyard and Drydock was established in 1965 by Ghana's first president, the late Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, during the construction of the Tema Harbour as part of the overall infrastructure requirement for the country's maritime industry. But today, the PSC Tema shipyard is a far cry from the vision which it was set up. In its current state, all three major facilities at the yard requires huge capital injection. The place shop where all metal and rolling works were done, for instance, had gathered dust, rusting away. Many of its equipment have broken down. At the fabrication shop, Louver blades have all broken and the roofs of the buildings ripped off.
That's a report by Josephine Entry-Ejay from the newsroom here at TV3, and it's heartbreaking to see something like this. But she first did a report on this 7 years ago, and 7 years down the line, it looks like the situation has only gotten worse. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
Very well, Bella.
First of all, I want to know what motivated you to even, record this documentary.
Right. Well, I am a maritime journalist.
Okay.
I've followed the industry for quite a very long time. And fortunately, I live in Tema. I grew up in Tema. Okay. So I know the stories in Tema, and I know the industries, how they are faring. PSC was my first case study. I wanted to really follow up to where I've gotten to now. And it's quite interesting, Bella, that, I always say that we haven't celebrated our late first president enough. Because the man was really a visionary, a leader, and he had thought everything out. Because per the International Maritime Organization law, when you build a port, there should be a shipyard. And that was great that 55 years old, we built this yard. Yeah. And then it was something that was there for us to really make money out of it. So during those days, in fact, it was really good, because we had a lot of vessels calling at the port. And then when they come at the port, per the rules of the ISO convention, you have to do 2 repairs in a year. Okay. So they come in, for instance, a vessel like Mexline comes and probably have an issue. After discharging its cargo, it's sailed right to the shipyard and do a few repair or preservation works before it sails back to wherever the vessel is going. So it was really good that we had such a facility with us, and also it was good that we were really going to make a lot of money from that.
Were you the first to ever get the shipyard?
We were. Yeah. Ghana was the first in the African continent to have a shipyard. Okay. And it was marvelous, because we had vessels sailing from the Asian, the Mediterranean, coming all the way here for repair works. And one very, very striking thing, Bella, that I must say, that the workforce there are so determined. There was one particular ship owner I met there when I went to do my documentary. He's a regular client. He had bought a tug vessel for repair works. And he told me it is his set time there at the vessel. And he can assure me... Engineer Sunday. He can assure me that Ghanaian engineers do quality work. Even though they use manual to do their work. Wherever he had sailed and sent his vessels there, he can't compare the kind of work they do to ours. But for him, he believes that it's about time. We really look at the shipyard, invest, and revive the workers, get them to go on and also feel that they can really do much more better than what they are doing.
First of all, I want to know, is this the only shipyard we have in the country, or do we have more?
That's the only shipyard we have in the country.
So what happens to the Takoradi ports?
Takoradi has a port, all right, but it doesn't have a yard. So normally when a vessel comes and there should be any repair works, it has to sail back to Tema, where we have 2 docks, but the docks are quite huge because it can take like 4 ships in 2 docks.
I see.
Yes. 4 ships have to go in 2 docks, and then repair works can go on. Place. PSC is synonymous with fabrication, welding, preservative work, shipbuilding. That was very strategic for the late Dr. Kwame Nkrumah when he built the shipyard, because the vision was that later in the years, we will be building ships right here in Ghana, but we haven't lived up to expectation.
You're saying that we're losing it to competition. As it stands now, who are we losing business to?
Well, it's sad, Bella, that a couple of 5 years now we have countries like Senegal, Togo, we have Guinea-Bissau, Liberia. They have all now built yachts. So now the competition is tight. When there's vessel comes to the sub-region, it can choose to come to Ghana, Tema PSC shipyard, or probably sail to Guinea and have such repair works done there. So, but the shipyard actually builds, is run on vessel calls.
Okay.
The more you get more vessels, the more you get money to
that's
run your
it.
facility. So if in a year you are getting about 6 vessels, I mean, you're not making anything.
Is that what we're actually getting at the shipyard?
As at 2015, that was the number of vessels we were getting in a whole year.
6?
6 vessels are calling, 6 vessel call. So you can imagine, what were we actually doing at that time? You know, if I could just run viewers by the history
Please do.
of PSC Shipyard. PSC Shipyard was started in 1965 by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah.
1990, we went straight, it was taken over by government again. And then in 1996, that was when we had the divestiture program.
Okay.
So PSC Shipyard was given to Pennant Shipping and then Bostad Heavy Industries. These are the Malaysians that people popularly know that, okay, PSC was given to Malaysians to run. So they were in there for about close to 10 years. At the end of the day, when the Malaysians were leaving, they left us with nothing. They left everything in ruins.
Why?
So government had to take the Malaysians to court.
Okay.
And then able to retrieve some few monies with them. And that was what they were able to float with for some period. That was around 1996, 1997. And the government took it again. So government has been holding fort until 2016, when the new government came, decided that, okay, well, this is a maritime industry, and the port, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority runs the port. So why don't you take the leadership and run this as a subsidiary company to the authority? So GAPOA took over in 2016, and then that was the first investment they made, 15 million cedis. So today, when you go to the yard, you see 1 or 2 new equipment. They call them mobile cranes. Cranes are used to help the workers to lift equipment from the various areas and move down to where the dock is. So that was a few equipment that they have that they are managing with it. But they really need a huge capital to be able to survive. So GAPOA took over, invested that money, and then 2018, government said, okay, I'm taking back my yard again. So now, currently, is under the Transport Ministry.
And they haven't done
anything much now. So we are just hoping that 2020, if the Transport Minister is watching us, will put all his attention, put his spotlight there, get investors to go there and to salvage the yard, because it is a real asset that we can make millions of dollars there.
For many people, the only time they even found out who the transport minister really was when he had to go and pull down those structures around airports, you know, and so that's when people realized, okay, we actually do have a transport minister. But then again, I want to know, is there hope? Looking at the situation and how bad it is right now at the shipyard, is there hope, and what do we need to do?
There is hope. There is hope in everything if we put our mind on it and see, because as at 2018, the current transport minister decided to make an attempt to see what he can do. So he threw in a bid that companies should come in and support government. So they had 25 companies coming in, and then they bidded, and then it was pruned down to 6 of them, out of which 1 came up. That's Alka Energy. Alka Energy in the oil industry. The whole idea was that Alka Energy was going to partner with Dubai Drydocks so that they come in and they put money into it. But as of now, we haven't heard anything from Alka Energy. So we don't know if 2020 Alka Energy will come up and salvage the situation.
Well, let's hope that this report goes far and, you know, knocks on the doors of the most important people who have to fix the situation, salvage the situation as well. I was speaking to Josephine Entry Ejay, and she's a maritime journalist here at TV3. Thank you so much for throwing some light on this. And I'm sure the next time you go back to do a documentary, maybe we would have seen some improvement and some progress at the Tema shipyard as well.
Exactly. That's what we are all looking at.
Definitely.